Do this.
Hey guys, welcome to another week. Black Friday's coming, and figured we would hit the record button and go. So it's 1 week away, and so we're talking a little bit before Chris, and there's some stuff going on, and
I just want to say I'm leaving the country because I will spend less money doing that than I will staying here for Black Friday. I don't know about you guys, but like, that's how I feel.
Hey, but the internet, but the Black Friday links work everywhere. If you're leaving the internet, leaving the country, it's not going to matter.
I'm going to leave Cyber
Monday. I'll get you.
I got to fly back on Friday, so Black Friday. So if I'm on a plane, I'm just not open up I'm just not going to catch the internet. So
there you go.
Yeah. So let's start off with a stat. This is ridiculous. This is the insane stuff that we deal with, right? So between October 1st and November 9th of this year, Trend Micro research team found 66,491 Black Friday shopping related scam URLs in the United States that was being sent out through like phishing emails and ads and things like that. The worst part about that, the final week that they had recorded it, and I'm sure these numbers will get updated, they doubled. There was a 100% increase in 1 week. So it went from like 33,000 to over 66,000 in a week. There's money in this. There's money in getting people to click on these links. And
a lot of money.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. I think last year I saw that there was and last year I think, and I could be wrong on this, but like I think there was like 10 or 20% less. So it's just like every year it's just like let's stack on top of it. Let's just keep going.
I think I read something yesterday about Barclays saying it's up 22% from last year already.
I wouldn't.
So those are all phishing URLs, Carl. And I know that when you do risk assessments, when you're testing some companies, you actually send out fake phishing emails. How successful are they when reaching out?
It's surprisingly quite a lot. I mean, even if they don't click on the link, if they open them up, I mean, right now you can have a JPEG photo embedded inside of the email, and if they just glance over it, if they mouse over that, it can basically drop a payload right into the system, and it's off to the races for these guys.
Yeah. So now they got.
It's not unusual to get 80-90% of penetration with the phishing emails, even when they know they're under a risk assessment.
I have a new idea for this. We should use QR codes, and we should just send them to the YouTube video for being rickrolled. And then hopefully all their speakers are on because I just want to hear it and then like record the office because I want to hear it as it goes off. That would be awesome.
Remind me to get back with when we're talking about holiday things about the QR codes because somebody else mentioned another scam that just happened that you should be aware of.
Yeah, go for it. Talk for about right now.
Okay, no problem. Then when you go to restaurants, you want to make sure a lot of these places they have the menus with the QR codes, or they have like sign. If you click on this QR code, you're going to get a discount, 10% or whatever. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys what they're doing. The bad guys are going ahead and putting stickers right on top of the QR codes. And so, and how are you going to know if that's good or bad? Nobody in the restaurant's going to check that. So you scan that, and you're being brought to a malicious site, and you're asked to put your credentials back in there. And it's step one. They're landing on the beachhead.
Let's say that real quick. If you scan a QR code at a restaurant and it requires you to log in, you should close that immediately. If anybody sends you a QR code that requires you to log in,
or to give you an email pass, well, what they're doing is trying to get data. They're trying to mine you for an email and a phone number, and then at that point, they're going to start sending targeted attacks at you.
Well, if it sends you to a Microsoft 365 page or like Google, they're trying to steal your 2FA token to their session 2. So let's just say this. If it requires you to log in at a restaurant, just don't do it.
Exactly. Well, that's true.
It should be your discount code or your check. And frankly, if what's on that check isn't what you ordered, just stop. Hand the credit card to your server.
Yeah. So let's see what else.
Oh, Sherman agrees. Excuse me.
Sherman agrees. There we go.
Sherman
agrees. So anyway, Matt, if we jump back to Chris's initial message about all these bad URL sites and phishing things that are going out there, Black Friday. Not everyone has Black Friday off. There's a bunch of people that are working. What should people be doing there?
Honestly, don't be dumb. And I know that sounds rude, but this stuff's coming in. And if you get an email that looks like it might be from bestbuy.com and you're so excited about the $10 TV and it says bestbuy.xyz, please don't click it. Please don't open it. Please don't do anything with it. Just delete it. Also, if you're not looking for a TV, and this is a little self-control for Chris because he has to leave the country to not buy too much stuff, just stop shopping. Honestly, ignore most of it. So you can kill two birds with one stone. Is that a good thing? I don't know what the sayings are.
Good.
I'm terrible at
Sweet birds.
I had to fact check your Best Buy to XYZ, and luckily that doesn't exist right now. But after this post, maybe it will tomorrow.
They might register for the $5 it costs. I'm gonna try to fish Chris for a television.
You ain't gonna get me
Log
money
in,
for
try to sell him a television.
I don't
Really,
need a
the deal
television.
seems too good to be true. It probably is. And if it's not something you can type in bestbuy.com or amazon.com and find yourself, it's probably not real. Simple as that.
And that goes back to with all these fake emails. If you get an email that says click here to get a $10 coupon or a $50 off coupon, that's how they're getting in. They're getting people to click.
So
Well,
Bob, what would you do about business owners as far as their employees, shopping on their computers, on the company computers and stuff like that?
Chris and I have talked about this a lot. What are the company policies? Do you have any policies for internet use in the office? A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's just a website. They can go do whatever they want at lunchtime. Well, that's not the case anymore. And we really don't want to see any of this personal shopping happening in the office, but we have to have a policy. As long as we have a policy, now we can build controls around that policy. But if
let's go a little deeper on policy too. Let's for people out there that don't really spend a lot of time with policy, maybe you have an HR handbook. Policies are considered mandatory. Everybody has to follow them. So if you want to go through, if you have to terminate somebody based off of that, and look, none of us are lawyers, but if you have to terminate somebody for that, if they've signed off like an acceptable use policy, kind of what Bob's saying, that's mandatory that they follow that policy. And if they don't, there's recourse that can be done for it. So
I actually had sidetrack for a second. I actually had a client that had a policy on policies that people couldn't train on more than 5 policies a day. It was like, you have to just train a little bit, learn it, and move on.
Well, I think too, sometimes with policies, and this, I know it's a little side, people want everybody to accept every policy. Realistically, policies in a company the only people that should be accepting policies for like your person should be the ones that affect you.
Yep.
For your job. Not all the policies in the company, because that's going to be far reaching past what your job role is, but an acceptable use policy is something that everybody signs, right? Exactly. It's a simple policy. How do we use the hardware? How do we use the internet? How do we use the software inside the business? And when you're looking at it from why you'd have an acceptable use policy, it's all about risk. If people are browsing the internet and just going anywhere and you have no controls in place and there's no policy in place, how is that defensible?
It is. Well, Chris, let me change the paradigm for a second for you. Let's pretend it's not a computer. Let's pretend you gave every employee a company car with the logo of the company on there. And, on Black Friday, instead of going on the internet, they proceeded to take those cars and drive them to, the local stores and everything. And, what are the chances that they might get into an accident inside of a crowded shopping mall? So it's really, what you're doing is when they are on those computers really are an extension of the company.
Well, to your point, Carl, an accident in a parking lot's one thing. What happens if somebody goes out and has a couple drinks at lunch and then hits somebody?
Even worse.
And not that we're trying to support vehicular manslaughter while drinking and driving or anything, but
not today.
Never. Wink, wink.
Thanks for clarification.
But to Carl's point, that's it. When you let people just browse the internet unfettered inside of your company, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like giving them, like what Carl said, give them a company car with your logo on it, and then something bad happens and you expect no recourse from it. And unfortunately, bad people want your money. It's really simple.
Yeah. And that's a big thing. We talk to people. We talk to people all the time, and they say, "Well, I've got nothing that the bad guys want from me. I'm just a small business." Well, you got a bank account. The bad guys want it, and for Black Friday, and it reminds me of gift card scams again, because they're going to be out there in force also. And I had one person that had $500 worth of gift cards in her hand because she was on the phone with somebody that called her from a support perspective and said, "Oh, we mischarged you, and I need to get it back, or I'm going to lose my job." This guy was so under her skin that I talked to her for probably 15 minutes trying to convince her that it wasn't real. And I wound up hanging up on her. I happen to know her kids, and I called her kids. I said, "Stop your mother."
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, it's a social engineering thing, and the guys know how to do it. So be careful, everybody. It is Black Friday. It will be Black Friday next week. And
Hey,
I got one more thing, one more scam that's going out before the holiday. This one is unbelievable. You can go on Amazon and buy prop money. $10, you get like a whole bunch of bills. You go, well, obviously, if you feel each one of them, they don't feel like they're made out of real money paper. But you're getting, you got some of your fake money too.
I give you a couple to my kids for chores? No, not really. I'm not that awful.
No. So there have actually been a lot of cases where people are using this inside of change. You break 100 and they throw a 20 in there or something like that, and you're just taking your money. So please be careful as far as that's concerned. Matt, it was Chris. You told me a guy bought a car with a whole bunch of this, and the police didn't do anything. That was quite a story.
Yeah, it was a few months ago. They had somebody that took a duffel bag full of cash, and it was prop money, and there's nothing the police could do because they exchanged something for the car. Even though that something was worth nothing, they exchanged something for the car, and they signed the title over free and clear. So,
small claims court.
I mean, they probably could, but I don't think they knew the person because it was paid in cash.
Jeez.
The person just disappeared.
Well, yeah.
Also, with your guys' prop money, are you guys going to go rent one of those jets and you're going to start doing like an Instagram photo shoot? Just throw it up in the air so nobody knows. Yeah, make it rain on the plane and stuff like that.
I like my Monopoly in the back, so I like to I like to up the game.
Next thing you know, we're going to see Carl's YouTube video is going to be Carl in a Ferrari going to a private jet, and the private jet, if you scale back, is going to just be on the runway.
Money, so his jet's going to be nicer than mine.
Yeah.
It's $10. I think Matt got by with 50 cents on his prop.
He's going to rent it for 15 minutes so he can take like a bunch of photos in there. The jet's just going to be sitting on the runway. The Ferrari, he's not really driving it. It's just sitting there, and he's just sitting inside of it for 15 minutes, and he's going to look like a baller. And then there's going to be a QR code.
There'll be a QR code.
There'll be a QR code. Hey, if you want to look like me, scan this QR code and download my free course.
Okay, well, let's give people some time back in the day and wrap this up. But this is going nowhere. Anyway, guys, good seeing you. We still need to come up with a name for this. And for now, it's going to be the unknown Cybertalk.
I thought we were going unnamed.
Unnamed. There we go.
Maybe we can go. Maybe underground.
Underground.
The underground cyber.
I gotta find a basement though.
Matt, any final words?
I got nothing. I figure we'll take the blows about prop money offline and give everyone their time.
There you
back.
go. Carl,
you
got anything?
No, it's just happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, Chris, and you?
Happy Thanksgiving.
You always have something to say though.
Well, hey, look. I've already made fun of Carl for his QR code and his course that he's to be selling to everybody.
Okay. Anyway, back to work, everyone.
All right.